What's up guys, Michael here. I want to tell you a bit about my new song, On Fire. Okay, so one of my favorite things about a lot of my favorite songs over the years has always been the nuances. I know every great song has like so many elements that go into it. Melody, layering, complementing parts, singable, just catches your ear. Something me personally, I've always just really enjoyed is just the little touches, the things that like most people maybe glance over but become like iconic little bits of a song. I've always been someone who's just really enjoyed nuances, just a uniqueness, add like a flavor that makes the song unique and special. And to me, a lot of times, a lot of my favorite songs have had little things in them that have always stood out to me as like game changers in that song. Like this little guitar part, or that little keyboard line, or that little hi-hat, some sort of little that I think help make that song what it is. I aspire to create those same kind of nuances in my own songs, and so I want to share some of my favorite nuances from my song On Fire. Okay, so the song starts with these opening chords on the acoustic. And that part is kind of the refrain throughout the whole song. It's actually how I wrote the song, with me, my acoustic guitar in my room, playing just the basic chords throughout the whole thing. That little opening line, it is kind of the core that holds it all together. However, there's a few parts that I added to it that kind of layer on top of it. For instance, you'll notice at the beginning of the second verse, those original chords are still being played, but now there's this lower part that layers on top of it. That was actually the idea of my producer. He was like, is there any other chord inversions that you can kind of add to it? I literally just picked up the guitar and started playing a different chord inversion and kind of finger picking through it. It ended up being the part on the song. This little line on this lower acoustic part is the pickup into verse 2. That was also kind of an in the studio addition that we made. What we realized was it was really cool to kind of jump back into the second verse with that little line. One of the cool things that I really like about this song is that it's kind of the first song that I've done that has multiple different guitar parts layered on top of each other, but it's all really done on the acoustic. It's not until later in the song that we get any electric guitar, and the electric guitar that we get is really subtle. I mean, the slide has a prominent line, but
the game, I've been stuck like this for way too long.
There's not much chording. It's kind of just some little picking stuff here and there. Everything about it is built upon these core acoustic guitar parts, which is really fun. Okay, I have to mention, because I sort of skipped over it, but there is this really, really cool part right between the end of the first chorus and the start of the second verse, or third verse, I guess, however you want to call it. I always just call it the second verse. That's what makes sense in my head. It's this sort of breathy female vocal part. Basically, my friend AJ, she came in to do some harmony parts on the song. She's an amazing vocalist. She sang on one of my other songs. She came in and, just like any time you're in the studio, there's always kind of like some dead time. And there was this moment where she was kind of playing with a few different harmony parts, kind of fumbling around, and she was doing these little runs. The audio engineer, he recorded it. He just like threw them into that little spot. It just made this amazing little magic moment of these kind of, airy female vocal runs. Just filled that dead space perfectly. Okay, one of the other little touches that I think was really cool in this song, and it's really subtle, so it's not something you would pick up easily. In that closing, I don't even know what you call it, bridge, I guess, of the song, where it kind of drops into a steady groove.
I know you want to give up, but you've just got a little.
There's this little acoustic guitar part that I added that was totally impromptu. We had the bass acoustic track for that. I just kind of sat down and wanted to add another layer, something to give it a little bit more dimension, and I started playing this. And it kind of just sat perfectly in the mix. Really added just a tiny extra like sparkle and touch. I know it's not something that stands out. It's not like a really obvious part. You have to kind of listen for it. But I really feel like that's one of those little nuances in the song for me that kind of just gives it a little extra something. Okay, so those are just a few of my little favorite bits from the song, some of the things that stood out to me as I was putting it together, and parts of the song, little nuances, my favorite nuances that I felt like really added a lot to it and gave it an extra dimension. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you go back and listen to it and listen for those little parts. Also, let me know if there's other parts of the song that you think really added to it or added depth to the song that you thought were really significant. Let me know in the comments. Hit me up on Instagram or on TikTok, and please like and subscribe.